Hey, what's up guys? It's Ivan. And in this video, I want to show you the complete step-by-step Unbounce tutorial that has everything you need to know about Unbounce so that you don't need to watch any other video on it and you definitely don't have to pay for any course. From creating a landing page to setting up split test variations, setting up your custom domain, your email autoresponder integration, sticky bars, pop-ups, absolutely everything that Unbounce has, I'm going to show you here in this video. I've been using Unbounce for about the past 6 years, and I've used a dozen of different landing page builders, and Unbounce has by far been my favorite. I couldn't really switch to anything else after trying it, and you will see the reasons why, but mainly it's because they just have so many customization options available, so much flexibility for what you want to do with your elements, your headlines, images, things like that. And of course, their chat is phenomenal. I haven't seen better chat support for any software product before. They actually read what you say, what you ask them, and then they actively try to help and support you. So you will definitely not be disappointed. Now, before we get deep into it, guys, if I could ask you to please like and share this video. I'm trying to get it out to as many people as possible because I think there's a lot of free value here. It's basically a free course, and I want to make sure as many people as possible get to see it and get the value from within. All right. So that said, let's get straight into it. So we're going to get right into it. So the first thing you guys obviously need to do is to create your Unbounce account if you don't have one already. So just head over to go.ivanmena.com/unbounce and I give you guys a free 14-day trial as well as an exclusive 20% off on your first 3 months or 35% off on your first year. So this is something you cannot get just by going to unbounce.com. So definitely take advantage of this exclusive offer if you want to try Unbounce and if you want to follow along with me here in this video. If you already have an account, obviously just click on login right over here, and I'm going to see you on that next page once I'm going to log into my account and we're going to create our first landing page together. All right, and so here I am in my Unbounce dashboard. You can see I have a lot of pages. Don't worry about that. I have 136 right now that I've created over my years. But you will see a blank page. You won't see anything here. That's totally fine. Before we click on create new and actually start creating our page, let me just quickly show you the lay of the land just to give you an idea for where some of the buttons are, some of the options, right? So we're going to go through these here later on throughout the video. But the first thing you might want to do is head over to users. And if you have a partner or if you have associates that you want to work with you, you can just add them over here. So you can click on invite and then you could add them as additional users to your account without needing to give them your login and password, right? So that way they'll just be able to have everything on their end. And then if you head over into settings, if you go to script manager or embed code, you will be able to add a script for all your pages here. So if you have a Google Analytics stack code, for example, you can add it here so that all these pages will be tracked within Google Analytics, right? So these are definitely some of the things you want to do before you officially get started, kind of like the basic setup. And then if you head over here and click on account management, you will see your subscriptions, your billing information, existing domains if you have, clients, your users, everything like that. And your clients is basically like your account. So how many accounts you have. So if you manage somebody else's account, you would have more clients. So we can come back here by just clicking on that little icon over there, and we should be ready to start creating our first landing page. Now, instead of just making a random generic landing page, what I've done is went on this website that Unbounce provided, 15 high converting landing pages that you wish you built. So you can go ahead and look through them. I've actually created some of these landing pages like this one in one of my previous videos that you can look at. This one was a 62.26% conversion rate landing page. You can take a look and see what works for you. In this video, we can do this here. So we can select a topic like a product, and then we can create this landing page so that we can replicate it, make it look similar, right? And it's going to look something like this. Now, what we can also do is we can add an email submit form so that we can actually collect emails. So that is one little addition we can do. But aside from that, this is what our landing page could look like, right? And that's what I want to show you how to do here. So we're going to come back here into Unbounce. We're going to click on create over here. So I'm going to click on start building now right over here. And this is going to be your default Unbounce page builder, okay? And if you want to create pop-ups or sticky bars, by the way, it's going to use the same interface. So what you learn here will be applicable to most Unbounce products that you'll be able to use. So we can start with a blank page here, and here's what the pages will look like. You can see it on the right-hand side, but of course, we don't want to go through that hassle. We can just select the template and then just adjust some things around, right? So let's come down here. Let's look for something that looks similar to that page that we've selected. So this one looks pretty similar. This is the one I use actually quite often. So let's see if actually we can use something else. I don't like the image for that one, even though of course we could change the image. So this one looks pretty good. This one looks pretty similar, I think. And then we can just go in and adjust things. And yeah, it's got the testimonial. So it has the same similar template as that other page. So we can just go ahead and use that. So let's suppose for the purpose of this video, we want to sell guitars, right? Let's suppose we're a guitar company or we want to sell guitar music lessons. Okay, so we can say music lessons, guitar. That's the name of our page. That's the name of our sample product here for this video. And here we see the page. Okay, so we can get started. So let's click over here. So the first thing we need to do is let's just adjust the image to make things a little bit easier here. So we're going to come back over here, and this is a video over here. So don't mind that it looks kind of ugly right now, because once the page actually loads, it's going to look much prettier. But regardless, if you don't have a video that you want to add, we can select this option over here under background, select image, and then add an image. Okay. So with Unbounce, you have all these different sections that you could add on the left-hand side, like your section, your box, your text, image, button, everything like that. And on the right-hand side, you customize it. Okay. So very intuitive, very simple to get into. And it's the same, like I said, for every product that they have, whether it's sticky bars, pop-ups. And then here at the top, you have these settings like copy, paste, delete, undo, things like that. So let's change the image to something related to guitar, right? So that's the first thing we want to do. So we're going to click on change image over here. And then Unbounce gives you some free images that you can use that Unbounce provides you, or you can click on Unsplash images. And Unbounce has a nice integration with Unsplash, which is basically a free image tool and copyright free as well. So you don't have to pay for this. You don't have to mention. You can just use these images. So we can say, for example, guitar. And then we have here, this looks pretty good. Just, a person playing guitar, learning to play guitar. So we can pick any one of these. I like this one. I think this looks pretty good. So we can click choose. And we're going to let it load for a second. And then the one thing that I really like about Unbounce is that you can somewhat customize the image without needing to go to Photoshop and do it, right? So, for example, if you click on advanced settings, you can change the opacity. If you click on overlay, and then it makes it a little bit easier to see, right? Like to see your text. And then you can change the color of the opacity. So you can make it white, for example, and now it's like that. And then you can make the text black, of course, or you can make it black and then make the text white, right? So up to you, however you want to do it. This is just a preference thing. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks pretty good. So let's add a little logo over here, or imaginary logo, and a button on the right-hand side right there, okay? And then we're going to create a headline, a description, and a form, right? Because let's say we want to get leads. We're going to submit a form and then a little text that says, watch how it works. So let's do that. By the way, you can also adjust the width of your page over here. So you can make it bigger if you like, or smaller. And then if you want to undo it, we're just going to click on undo over here. So let's add our logo. And actually, this could work as our logo. So we can just go ahead and drag that. We don't have to add another one. And then we can make it smaller, so it looks like a logo. So it's not too big, just like that, right? Again, this is an example. So of course, your logo would have to do with a guitar in this case, but for simplicity's sake. And then we want to add a button. So look at that. It says button. We're just going to go ahead and drag that over here. Very, 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 very simple. And then if we want to say what the button does, we're just going to come over here, right? So we're going to say, maybe get your free lesson. Let's suppose we're offering free guitar lessons, or at least the first one. So we can make it like that. And then, like I said, the customization options are on the right? So anything you want to change that has to do with the button, you can do so here. So if we want to change the button color to make it a little more fitting, well, actually, it fits the green here, so we can stay with that. Of course, you can pick the color right over here, and you can say if you want it to be or let's say dark like that, for example, but we're going to undo it. So that looks good. We're going to expand it a little bit. Let's say I don't like these, the corner radius. I want it to be like a normal button like that maybe, right? So that kind of removes that, but it's up to you. It doesn't actually look too bad, so I will add some to it. You can add a border if you like, all different types of borders they have. You can also add a gradient if you like. So not just one color, but like it goes from, let's say, lighter green to darker green. And then if you select this lock option, you'll be able to change the different colors, right? And then it looks like that. And so that looks pretty good to me. Maybe we could make it a little bit smaller. And then if you want to make the text smaller, you can do so as well. So over here, you see the text size, make it 12 is too small, maybe 18. And then I can just make it like that, and then boom, that's ready, okay? So there you go. And then of course, what's a button without a link? So we want to click on it and we want to say, where do we want to take people to? Well, let's say https://www.guitarlessons.com. Now, I don't know if this page exists, but for simplicity's sake, we're going to say that. And then that's it. So if somebody clicks that, they will go to myguitarlessons.com. So I actually went ahead and just opened the page just to make sure it works, just to make the process a little more smoother for us when we're testing and things like that. And there is a website, guitarlessons.com. So that's perfect because we can just use this as our test URL. So congratulations, Guitar Lessons. You are the lucky winner of today's free advertisement. And so we're just going to keep it like that. And then here we want to add a headline, right? A big headline. So we can say, get your, I don't want to say free. Well, we can say get your free guitar lesson now. Get your free one-on-one, for example. And this is a landing page, right? So this isn't like our website where we are trying to get people to buy something or read our posts or anything like that. We want people to do a specific action, which in this case, for example, is fill in their email. So offering something for free is totally normal, right? That's like a best practice actually, so that you get people's email in exchange for something free. And then of course you can sell them something. So we can select that. We can make it bold. Over here, you have all the options again for the text. That font looks good, but if you're not happy with the font, you can just come in here and change the font family right over here. They have a bunch of different options here. Well, if you click on add or remove font, they have a bunch of different options here. And then you can select whatever you like. I think this looks good actually. So we're going to keep it like that. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to add a little description. So get a personalized trainer to learn guitar by joining our newsletter today, for example. And we can say that. Let's suppose we want to make that a little smaller to differentiate it from the headline. So we can do something like this. And that looks good. Now, maybe we want to make the opacity a little bit more opaque, maybe like that, right? So it's just a little bit easier to read, something like that. Alternatively, like I said, you can make the image with a white opacity and then make those black. And that will probably be easier to read, but I like how this looks, so we can just leave it like that. And then of course we can say, get your free lesson. And then here we can say maybe the same thing, you know, get your free lesson, something like that. You can expand it. I actually like that gradient. So I'm just going to come in here and just make this gradient as well. There you go. And then we can come here. We can Control C to copy the URL, come in here, and then Control B over here. And by the way, what you saw right now before I pasted it is you saw it say number sign, and then it had the name of a section, right? So that's how you can do it so that a button jumps to a specific section. So if you come over here and you go into contents right over here, and you click on, for example, over here, you'll be able to see the name of this section over here at the bottom, ID, right? And then if you say, for example, number sign, and then you say that on your button, then when somebody clicks that button, they'll jump to that specific section. So that's how that works right over there, okay? So, but this looks good for now, I think. So let's see how we're doing here in terms of this. Yeah, so we have another button here, you know, watch how it works. We could do that. So if we want to drag text right over here, we could say easy to start. Then we can make that a little smaller. Of course, you can add a little disclaimer here as well, whatever you like. And I did say that we want to add a form, right? So actually, let's go ahead and add a form, not just the button. So for the form, we're going to look for the form right over here. And as you can see, it is grayed out. So what that means is that there is already a form on the page, but the form is right here at the bottom. I don't like that because I want that to be at the very top. I don't want my form to be at the very bottom, so people have to scroll to get into it. So what I'm going to do is just select it, and you can click the delete key on your computer or just click delete right over here. And now, as you can see, the form button is available again. So we're going to just remove that like that. We're going to scroll up, and then we're going to delete this button. We're going to move this down a little bit, and then we're going to add this form right over here. And then you can select what you want to collect in the form. We, of course, want to collect the email. If you want to collect the first name, you can do so as well. Maybe drag it up. Whatever you want to collect, you can do so here. You have drop-down menus as well that you can choose. So, for example, country, and then people can choose their country, anything like that. State, province, age, gender, you know, drop downs, things like that people can do. You also have checkboxes. So you can come in here and you can say what the field label is, and then you can give them the choices right over here. All right. So for example, we could say, how skilled are you at playing guitar? And then we can say, I'm a complete beginner. Choice 2, we can say, I'm intermediate. I'm an expert. Something like that. And then we can come over here and you can make this a required field. Like the first name is required, the email is required, so that people can't proceed unless they enter their email, right? You can come over here. You can also make this required, but I feel like for this one, we could just leave it blank and kind of leave it optional, not to overwhelm people. We can keep the first name just because it's a good practice once you send emails to greet people by their first name. So we could actually leave it like that and we can hit done. And now this is what it looks like. So we're just going to give it a little bit more space here. This is the button. So we're just going to drag it like this. We can drag it down. Now, as you can see, it is black, right? So you can't see any of that. So we're just going to change the color to white right over there. And then for this to be white, we just have to scroll down a little bit more and checkbox radio button. We select that to make that white. Okay. And then it looks like this. Now we could also make it a little bigger. So it looks like this. We can drag it here to the middle, and I think that looks much, much better. You can also drag the button manually, and if you pay attention closely here, you can see the little green line that shows up with Unbounce. That's another thing I love about it, is that just shows you whether your buttons are centered, your buttons or your elements, right? So it could be this one as well. I'm looking for the green right over there. This one right over here. And then that is pretty much it. Don't worry about these here. This one, that's just my last pass. In fact, I'm just going to turn it off real quick. All right, so I went ahead and deleted that extension so you don't see that little annoying thing there anymore, but you basically see this, right? Now you can also adjust the different elements over here under filled attributes. So you can make that a little smaller if you like, make it a little bigger, which that doesn't look too bad actually. You can adjust the spacing. So actually I think we should reduce the spacing a little bit. You can adjust the font size like that and the columns. So you can say how many columns do you want? So if you have many different things that you're asking, you could put them in different columns. I'm gonna go ahead and drag that again over here. So I'm looking for that green, right? For the green in the middle. So it looks like that. It looks pretty good. And another thing, by the way, you can do is you can put a placeholder text, right? So if you double click this again, if you click on first name, for example, you can say, enter your first name here, ... And then over here, you can say, enter your email here, ... Click done. And now it just shows people, right, what they should be doing basically. And so that is it for the form, right? Now we do want to click it, however, and we want to say, hey, once people complete this form, we want to either take them to a thank you page or we want to show a form confirmation dialog. And then if you click on edit confirmation dialog, you can say what it says, like thank you, right? Check out our website. So if you want, you can come in here and just add a little button that says check out our website, right? You can do that, anything like that. So that is pretty much it for this form. I can't think of anything else to do with the form specifically. And then here's our little disclaimer. By the way, you don't have to look for the size here. You can also type something in. It does go in increments. Like you can't do like 71, for example. But if you want to do, for example, like there's a lot between 48 and 72. So for example, if you want to do like 54, you can go ahead and now that becomes 54, right? So you don't have to just look at these. You can do less than 8. You can do more than 72 if you want. But we're going to go with 14 here, or we can give a little disclaimer, will not spam you and will only send you relevant emails to guitar lessons. So something like that. That looks good. Okay. So we can come in here to the next part. So let's look at our high converting landing page, see what they have. So they have these little parts here. So what we can do is we can add a little section here. We can click on section, drag it over here, make it a little smaller, and then we can add images. So here we have images we can add over here, and then we can look for, let's see if they have, let's see if Unbounce has Instagram association. They don't. Let's see, Instagram. So then these would be custom images that you would then come in and just create, and then you can click on all images and then you would upload your image, right? So that's how you would do that. So for the time being, let's just upload some placeholders. So for example, this one. So we can just drag it over here. We can copy it. So Control C, Control V. We can come over here and then we can double click the image, click on Unbounce images and then get something else, maybe letter U. We can say scale image to fit. So it fits within this box. We can also edit the mask. So it just shows part of that, right? If you want to make it bigger, smaller, or you can just remove the mask. So it shows everything. And then it looks like this. And then again, we can Control C, Control V to paste. We can come in here, double click it again, go to Unsplash, go to Unbounce public images and find something that we can use as a placeholder. Maybe this one, scale image to fit again, but then we're going to edit mask. We're going to remove the mask so it shows everything. And then we can manually make it a little smaller. We look for the green there, see, to show that it's centralized. And then we can do one more, Control C, Control V, come over here, double click it. And let's say this one, hamster app. I don't know what that is. Then edit mask, remove mask, And then we can go like this. So again, these are just placeholders, right? They don't really make sense, but obviously you would have your own custom images for these, but that's how you would add them. So as you can see, super simple. Like it's super freaking intuitive. You can't imagine how many landing page builders I've tried that were just not intuitive at all. That you had to kind of try to guess and figure out where things were, why they were like that, just doesn't make sense. But there's just so much freedom, so much flexibility with Unbounce. I love it. And then if you do have questions, you can click on support, click on create new support ticket. And they also have live chat support as well, by the way. So you would be able to take advantage of that. So I'm going to save our work here and let's just do a little bit more if we can. So let's suppose this one looks good. I like that one. You know, this one looks good. But if we want to make it kind of the same as this, it's also pretty simple to do. We can just add another section. Let's suppose over here, add it here, and then we would add a title. So let's say I'm going to Control C this title here, Control V to paste it here, come in here, make it a little smaller like that. And then we could say something like, why take our lessons, right? And then, you know what? Let's suppose I like the color green because this button is green. So let's suppose I'm going to take this base color. I'm going to Control C it. Where'd it go? Oops, let's come back here. Come in over here and I'm going to copy it. And then we can come in here and we can paste it and hit enter. And now this is going to be green, right? So it matches with our form button. We can also make it bold like that. And then we could center it. And then again, we can add images. So pretty simple. Let's say guitar and let's add a few images here. So for example, let's do this one. We can hit choose. And then if we want to make it the same format like this, right, we have see more, super simple, scale image to fit. And we're just going to manually make it a little smaller, edit mask, remove mask, just so it shows the whole image. And then boom, right? And then we can go ahead and Control C, Control V, come in here and then double click that, go to Unsplash, type in guitar and get another, I like this image. And then we're going to say scale image to fit here. And there you go, right? And then you would just keep doing that basically. So you would come in here, you would keep adding them. Maybe we want to center this one, and then these are the ones we want to adjust. And then we can do Control C, Control V again. Make sure that this time you can see the green line there saying that it's aligned with this image here, right? So that's what we want. Let's come in here, guitar, and then let's say we want another one, another image. Let's say, oh, that looks pretty cool, 2 people playing. And then we're going to say scale image and then boom, right? Now, another thing you could do if you want to be a little more detailed is if you look at the geometry over here, right? So this one is 350 pixels from the left and 157 pixels from the top. So if we want to space them out evenly, you could look at these positions, which is, it says where the center is. So the center here is at 350, the center here is at 630. So if you want to make it even, you could do this one 650, for example. And then if you come in here, right, it's 300, so this one would be 50. So now all these images are spaced exactly evenly apart, okay? If you want to make it a little less, you can do 75, for example. And then this one would then be 625. Boom, right? And then you're basically manually like making all the images there. So we can keep going. You can keep adding images, but I'm just going to leave it at that because you get an idea. You just copy and paste. So let's come back here. There is a little button there though. So what we can do is, again, for simplicity, we can come in here, we can copy that, click on this section, come in here, and then add the little button here. And then the URL is already there, so we don't have to do anything. So we can even say, get your free lesson, or we can say learn more now, right? And then normally this isn't ideal because you have buttons here taking people to your website, whereas we want to collect their emails. But again, this is just an example, right? Maybe your button could be like about us or something like that instead. So that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much else to do here. Hopefully you have an idea for what, how this works. Let's suppose we don't like this section. You can just click on the section, click on delete, and the whole section is going to be gone. I think this one as well, maybe not relevant. We can delete it. Begin your journey with our, this is all caps, guitar lessons. Sign up to receive complimentary tips and suggestions on how to improve your guitar playing. I don't know how to say it. Improve your guitar playing. I'll just leave it at that. And then we can hit save. And then here we have, happy students. Again, we want to change the color. So we're going to come in here, Control C that color, come in here, Control V, paste it. And then I want it bold. I want this bold. And then obviously you could come in here, you can change what it says. Now, another cool feature I like about Unbounce is that you can group these things, right? You can group these elements. And the way you do that is you can drag this little box over here. For example, you can move it like this, make it big, and then you can adjust later. And then you can click on an element. You can shift click on anything else you want to drag, and then boom, put it in here. Look for the green lines to make sure it's centered. We can make this a little smaller actually. And then again, I'm going to click here, shift click, move it, make sure it is centered like that. Perfect. And now we can move it all in one box, right? We don't have to kind of click each one element individually. You can just move the whole box. So pretty simple. Now we don't want that border there. So we're just going to click here, remove border, right, for that box. And now boom, it's invisible. You can't see it, but look at how easy it is to move. Okay. So like I said, you would just go in here and just adjust that, like my trusted, guitar guide or whatever. But I'm just going to leave it at that for now because you get the idea. But I will center it like that. Better. Okay. And then over here, I don't know what happened. So let's just go ahead and move that a little bit down. There you go. And this looks pretty good. So I think that looks pretty good. I think I covered everything. You do have a custom HTML option over here. So let me just add a section to show you some of these other options here. You have your custom HTML. With that, if you drop here, you can embed things. If you guys are professionals with coding, you can add embed videos, things like that. You can do that here with this element. You have embed video, where if you drag it here, you can paste your video code below, like Wistia, YouTube, things like that. And it's going to add that. You have the form where you can only have one form per page. That's why it's grayed out. You have a lightbox button, which will open a lightbox. Okay. So if you click on edit lightbox over here, this is kind of like a pop-up, basically. So you would be editing your pop-up. So that's what this lightbox button is. It would show up a pop-up basically. Then you have the button, which we did, image, text, box, and section. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory. I think we went over all of it. And that should pretty much be it for our landing page. So congratulations. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save over here. And now the page is unpublished, but don't worry, we will publish it very shortly. The first thing I want to do though is mobile optimize the page. So we're going to come in here, mobile. Don't show the message. You can read it on your own time. I'm going to click continue here. And as you can see here, it is a bit of a mess. Okay, so what you want to do first is click on all sections right over here, and boom, Unbounce will automatically make things nice and neat for you. But you will, of course, still have to come in and adjust things. So if you click here, for example, you can adjust the font size on mobile only. You can do so. Let's suppose we want to make it a little smaller. We can do so like that. So like this, the form here. And then if you want to adjust any specific options for any element, you can come in here and adjust it. Now, for some of the things, they edit only in mobile, and for others, they edit everywhere, right? So for example, if you come here and you actually edit the size over here, that will adjust the size for everything, mobile and desktop. So for some of these options, you want to look for an option that says mobile only, or it's going to be the default. So over here, for example, if you want to make these a little bit smaller, you want to reduce the sizing, you want to reduce the spacing, you want to reduce the font size, that will only adjust it on mobile. So if we come back to desktop, you can see here it's still the same. The height is 44, but over here, the height is 31, okay? So you would have to play around with it, but always you can alternate between the two and just make sure that it's good, that it fits. And then we would move this element over here. That seems fine, but get a personalized trainer. Yeah, so actually this one was supposed to be here, right? This one was supposed to be up above. So we're going to drag that down here. We're going to make it smaller because that's the description. That wasn't the headline. Make it like that. Make it added here. Move this over here to the center. And then voila, right? You have this part completely mobile optimized. I think this looks really, really good on mobile. So we're going to hit save. And then over here, that looks pretty good. That's pretty optimized. That looks pretty good except for this part. So we want to drag it down, move that. Boom. Okay, pretty simple. Now, in this case, you can use the same stuff as with the desktop. So you look at the top. All right, so top is 119. Let's make it 120. Let's make this one, let's say 320. And then this one, let's make 520. All right, so now they're all equally spread apart. You can come in here, move the button right over there. And there you go. All right, so it looks much, much, much better. We can come in here. Let's, again, center this. Let's center this. That looks good. Happy students. Over here, it only shows one. So if you don't see the other images that you're supposed to see over here, it's either because they are on the top right or top left or somewhere hidden away on this page that you have to drag, or they might have been hidden. So what you can do is click on contents over here, and then you'll see here that they have been hidden from mobile view. So sometimes that happens if you don't want to show something on mobile, you can just deselect it over here. right? So it doesn't show like, let's look at this image here, this one. You can deselect it and it won't show on mobile, but it will show on desktop. So you can do that. So then if you do want to show it, all you're going to do is just, you're going to deselect it, and then you could come in here and adjust all these images. So this is really why I prefer to add these in a container, like in a box, so that it's easier to manage them, right? Because now they look like a bit of a mess. But so in this case, maybe we will remove them. But if you just go in there and just add them all to a box like we did here in the first one, it'll be much easier to manage. But that's basically how you mobile optimize it. So pretty straightforward. Like, this looks really good now, right? So we're good with that. We're going to hit save. Now, before we go back and publish and go through the other stuff here, let me just show you quickly the page properties. So if we go back to desktop, go to page properties, you do want to adjust the title and metadata, right? So here you would give your name, free one-on-one guitar lesson. So that's going to be the title, and that's going to be what's going to show up over here as well at the top of your tab, right? We can say keywords like guitar lessons, something like that. And then here we can say we offer personalized free guitar lessons. So something like that. Now you can also hide your page from search engines. So if you are not ready to be seen by Google, to be seen by Bing, right? All the search engines, you still want to work on your page because you don't want it out. You can just select this option and your page will not show on Google. It's going to be hidden. Okay. But we're going to deselect it. I think our page is good. We're going to hit save. So free one-on-one music lessons. Let's go back into overview and let's see what our page looks like here. So we're just going to go ahead and publish. And we're going to be taken through hyperspace. Pretty cool. And there you go. So let's go ahead and open this in a new tab. And then here you see at the top, free one-on-one guitar lessons, and you see the page. And then if somebody submits the form, nothing's going to happen because these were required fields. However, if somebody clicks here, for example, they'll be taken to this page. Okay. So we know all this works properly. That's what you want to do. You want to go through it, make sure it works. So before I show you how to change this domain to make it a nice custom domain that you like, to make it fit for you, let me just show you how to add some new variants, some new variations for your page that you can go ahead and test. So we're going to come down here, click on create new variant. We want to duplicate this one. We're going to say create variant. And then from here on, we're going to come in and make some changes. So we can scroll down here. We can click on edit this one right over here. And then let's suppose we want to change the title, right? Let's suppose we're testing different variations. So instead of saying get your free one-on-one guitar lessons now, we can say interested in free guitar lessons, for example, right? So let's suppose we want to test this title here for this variation. So we're going to click republish, and then we're going to click got it. Then we're going to go back into overview. And so now we have these two variations, right? And you can, of course, you can add more if you like by just clicking on add variant, but let's stick with these just two options for now. So after that, you can select any of these. You can say smart traffic, which will let Unbounce AI show the page that's most likely to convert. So you can select this option, or you can just do it manually where it will show 50-50, right? Whatever it is. So I like the smart traffic here because Unbounce is using AI. It's pretty smart and it will be able to kind of give you an idea of which page performs better. So once you select that option, you can come in here and you can click on the little three dots. I know it's hard to see because of that, but you click on those and you click on add to active variants. And now it's going to be over here, but we're going to rename it. So let's say variant A, and then we're going to say question, right? Because this is kind of what this is. So we named it right over here, and then we need to republish. So we're going to go ahead and hit republish, publish page. And now we have these two variations. So Unbounce is going to show to our audience either this page or this page, whichever works more, whichever makes more sense. So this is your get your free lessons. If we go and open this in a new tab, let me see what happens if I open this in another incognito window. So over here, I just opened another Microsoft Edge window. And as you can see here, it says music guitar lessons, but it's this question now, right? So it's a little different. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. So we know this works. And by the way, one more thing, let me quickly show you for any of these variants. If you click on goals, you'll be able to tell Unbounce what you want to track as a goal, right? So the form submission is, of course, a goal. So this will be considered a conversion. So you'll be able to see all these metrics within Unbounce. So if somebody enters this form, you'll be able to see that data within Unbounce. Also the link. So if somebody clicks on the links, which are the buttons, that will also be considered a conversion if that's what you want. Okay. So maybe not for this case because you don't want to track how many people like just go to your site, right? You want to track how many people sign up, but this is something you can do. So if you hit republish, and by the way, if you do it here, make sure to do it on your variant page as well. So you can quickly alternate between them over here on the top left, and you can just do the same thing, right? Let's say we want to track that, click save. click republish. And so now we'll be tracking how many people submit the form and how many people go to that page. So pretty cool. Let's go back into overview here for a second. And then you're going to see all your stats right over here, the conversion rate and everything, right? So really cool, really, really cool because you see everything here in Unbounce. Okay. So I love that. So now let's finish up with this. So let me show you how to create a nice domain rather than this one. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and click on domains over here. And Unbounce makes it super, super simple for you guys. So you just literally have to basically log into your domain provider, and then Unbounce is going to do everything for you. So what you can do is click on connect the domain over here. You can enter your domain. So I'm going to go ahead and log into my Namecheap account because that's where I have my domain, and we're going to use that domain as the example. All right, so I'm here inside my Namecheap account. So let's suppose we want to use this domain here, healthysolution-now.com. Of course, it doesn't really fit well with our guitar niche, right? But as an example, just to show you how it's done. So all you guys have to do is select the domain that you already own. Okay. All you have to do is own the domain somewhere, Bluehost, Namecheap, HostGator, whatever it is. Unbounce makes it easy for you. Paste it here, type in the subdomain. So www. Now that said, if you already have a website, I don't suggest that you use the www because most likely that's where your website is held. So if you already have a website like I do, let's say www.ivanmena.com, you can use a different subdomain. You can use, like over here, they're saying try or get or free or start now, whatever it is, you can write here. So instead of saying www, you can do that here. So if we want to say guitar.healthysolution-now.com, you can do so, okay? But this is a fresh domain. We're not using it for anything else, so I can use www. But it's very important, guys. If you already have a website, do not put in www because that's going to break your website, okay? Very important point here, guys. Pay attention to that. So we're just going to click on connect domain, and we're going to have to log in to our Namecheap account via here. So we're going to give it a few seconds. And there you go. It's done here, but it will have to analyze. So we're just going to log into Namecheap here again, and we're going to click continue. And now we're going to give it just a few seconds to authenticate. Usually it will take under a minute, and I'll see you guys very shortly. I had to enter my verification code, so I'm going to click on continue now. You might have to do the same, or you might not. Just a Namecheap security feature. So we'll give it a few more seconds here to load, and then the domain should be poof, automatically integrated. You don't have to do a single thing, guys. All right, and so it's finally loaded. Everything is good. So it says that we detected existing records. So I did have some other records from another video or something like that here. So this is just a reminder for you, like, hey, if you have different records here, are you sure you want to replace them? In my case, yes, because my domain isn't used for anything. And that's a key part. My domain isn't used for anything. So if you are already using your domain for something, think twice before doing it, or use a different subdomain, like I said, right? Not the www. So I'm good here. I'm going to go ahead and click on OK, continue. And that is it. It's now configured just like that, guys. Super, super freaking easy. We can now use this domain on any landing page we want. So let me just quickly show you behind the scenes of what happened here. So if you go to your domain, you click on Advanced DNS, Unbounce automatically does this for you. How cool is that? So before, what they used to do is they would give you instructions that you would have to come in here. You would have to look for the advanced DNS option. You'd have to add the CNAME, add the URL redirect, blah, blah, blah. They just do it for you automatically, guys. You don't have to do a single thing. So really, really simple. So now let's look at the page that we've created. Let's go back into all pages. Let's head over into this page that we created, music lessons, right over here. And now we're going to click on this URL. We're going to select this new domain right over here. And then you can change the path as well if you want. Like, let's say free guitar lessons, or the one they had before was totally fine. We're going to hit save URL, and then the page URL is updated. So look at this. If we click on new, boom. And it is also secure. As you can see, HTTPS, it is secure. It's got the little lock on it. There's no fear that this is like a scam site or something like that, because this is a secure site, and boom, you have your own custom domain. And just like that, just super awesome. Okay, you have it already, and it all works as normal. If you click here, you'll be taken to that page. So super, super cool stuff. Now, let me show you one more thing. Let me show you how to integrate it with your autoresponder. So if you want to collect emails and you're using a different third-party software, let me show you how you can integrate that as well. So first of all, you will see all your leads that Unbounce collected over here. So when somebody signs up, you'll see your leads here. But what if you're using a different autoresponder? What if you're using MailChimp or Aweber or GetResponse? How do you do that? So they do have their native integrations for with only these 9 products. Okay, so if you click on Aweber, for example, if you're using Aweber, you will connect with Aweber. You're going to log in, you're going to sign in to Aweber, and everything will be done for you automatically. Okay, so you'll be able to select a list, and then whenever somebody signs up here, they'll be added to the get response list as well, whichever one you create or select. Okay, now if you don't have any one of these, what do? Well, they do have an integration with Zapier. Unbounce has an integration with Zapier. So you're just going to click that. Let me just show you again. You're going to click this Powered by Zapier option over here, and you're going to log into your Zapier account. So let me just go ahead and do that here really quickly. All right, and so I went ahead and integrated now Zapier to Unbounce. And so now you can select any one of these that you want. So this is an integration that Zapier has with any of these, okay? So in our case, I have Get Response, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Get Response right over there. And then you're just going to select your account, you're going to select your list, and everything should just fall into place. So let me just show you how that's done. So the first thing we have to do is choose an account. So I'm going to choose this Unbounce account. I'm going to click on Continue. You're going to leave these as is. This is what will allow Zapier to communicate with Get Response with Unbounce. So do not touch these. We're just going to click on Continue over here. And we're going to test the trigger to make sure it works. Okay, so it looks like it is good, but we of course have to add now our list, right? All the form data that we want, things like that. So we're going to scroll down. We're going to continue with a selected record. So we're going to create a contact. So that is what we want, right? So when somebody signs up, we want this to be a contact in my case, Get Response. We're going to click on Continue. Now we're going to integrate with Get Response. So we're going to choose a Get Response account. I believe it's this one. No, not that one. Let's click change. I think it's this account here. There you go. So that's my Get Response account. So you would be able to select yours. And again, the process is pretty much the same no matter what autoresponder you're using, right? If it's not Get Response, if it's something else, process would be pretty much the same. So I'm going to click on Continue. So now we're going to choose a list. So let's suppose I want them to be added to my Medellin Ganar Dinero en Línea list. Okay, this list. So when somebody signs up, they'll be added to this list that I have created in Unbounce, or in Get Response, sorry. And then the email, we want to collect an email. So it's going to be form data email. So when somebody enters whatever email they enter, that's what's going to show up. All available fields. So this one is, sorry, let's close out of that. So the day of the autoresponder cycle, which day do you want to add them to? Well, most likely day 0, right? You want them to start from the very first email. The name. So if you do have a name, you're going to enter it. So whatever other fields you have. So if you have an age option in Unbounce, then you would select the age option here. Now, in our case, we don't, right? We just have the email and the name. And actually, we also do have that other option, like the questionnaire, but that's kind of specific to Unbounce. So this is something that I don't believe you can add as well. You might be able to with tags and something like that, but it's a little more complicated. So I'm just going to avoid that for now. But the main thing is the name and email, right? That's the main thing that you really need. So we're going to come in here. We're going to click on Continue. And now it's just saying, okay, here's the test email, autoresponder day, the name, just want to make sure everything is good. And we're going to click test. And here we're going to test it, make sure it's working. And it says contact was sent successfully. You see a little check mark there. You see it, that it looks good here. So we're going to click on publish. And then what I'm going to do is let me log into my Get Response account and let me actually show you that this contact was added there as well. All right, and so here I am in my Get Response account, and as you can see, today is April 2nd, and then this is the contact that has been added right here, right? So you know that it works, you know that it's been added, so I'm just gonna go ahead and log out of here. Get Response is, by the way, my favorite autoresponder and email integration tool. So if you want to get a exclusive 10% discount on that, I also have a link at go.ivanmenon.com/getresponse10. that you can use to get an exclusive 10% discount. So if you're interested in Get Response, you can try it out that way. All right, so let's come back here. So that is our Zap. Now it should show up over here. We know that it's integrated. And now any leads that come through here will be added to the leads tab over here, as well as our Get Response account. All right, so really cool. We have pretty much everything we need here. So the few more things I want to show you how to do is how to add pop-ups and sticky bars to your pages. And then that should pretty much be it for everything that Unbounce has to offer right now, which is a lot. And then let me show you how to add a favicon to this one, right? So the favicon is going to be what's going to show up over here, right there. So see how that's boring? That's like a little world sign, right? You don't want that. You want like a little guitar favicon or something. So what you're going to have to do is two things. First, we're going to have to go to a tool, to a website that's going to convert an image into a URL. So I use imgbb.com. Or if you just go to Google, you can just type in convert image into URL. And then let's come in here real quick and let's download an image of like a guitar that we can then use here. So let's come in here, let's say guitar, so pick something that would look good as your logo, or if you already have a logo, even better. But let's say this one, sure. We're going to say free download. Let's make it smaller. We don't need it to be too big, just so it downloads faster. It doesn't give us any issues. So we have that here. So I'm going to go ahead and I don't know what that is. I don't want that. So we're going to click start upload. And I went ahead and added that. Now we're going to click upload here. Now we don't want it to be a viewer link. We want to say full linked over here. Okay. And we want to copy this whole thing. So we're going to copy this whole thing. We're going to open our notepad and we're going to paste it here. And over here, all we don't want everything. Okay. We just want this one right here, this URL right there. Okay. So that, if we paste it here, this is the URL now of our image that we want. Okay. So we're going to come back here. We're going to paste it there. Now what we need to do is we need to take the Unbounce code for the Favicon. So if we come in here, Unbounce Favicon code. So let me just go in my video that I created a few years ago about how to add a Favicon. And I'm going to go to this here URL that I will provide to you in the description as well. This one, documentation Unbounce. Okay. And then we want to use this URL right here. Okay. So we're going to copy that. That's what we need to put. We're going to paste it here. And then we need to copy this instead of this part over here, right? So where it says your site, just like that. Then we're going to copy this whole thing. We're going to go back to our landing page here. Give it a second. We're going to click edit. So obviously you'd have to do it on both variants if you want the Favicon on both. We're going to open JavaScript and then we're going to paste that code over here. And then we're going to name it Favicon. And you can add it before the body end tag or in the head tag. Sorry, this actually does have to be in the head. So let's make it head. Let's click done. Let's click save. Let's click republish. And then if we go to the page, now you should see the Favicon right there. Not the best Favicon, but shows you how it's done at least. And so we can close out of these. And so that is how you add a Favicon, guys. So just the one last thing I want to show you how to do is how to add the pop-ups and the sticky bars. Okay, and that's pretty much it there is then with Unbounce. So if we come over here, it's going to be the same interface that we already used at the beginning where I showed you how to build a landing page. So of course you won't see anything here. So you're just going to click on create new, and let's start with the pop-ups. So you can choose whatever pop-up you want. So let's suppose you want to give them, you want to remind them saying like, hey, this free guitar lesson will last forever. So you can just go ahead and click that. And this looks pretty good. So free reminder, for example, you can say start with this template. And now we'll be taken to the page where we can edit this. So the editing is, like I said, exactly the same as with the other builders. So we can just click on this image here. We can, let's say, change image. Let's say we want to make it more guitar related. So we've already added some images. Let's go ahead and select this one. Now that looks a little more accurate. Maybe we can drag this a little bit more. Oops. So we want to select everything, right? So you can drag that a little bit more so we can see the guitar, something like that. Make it look nice and neat. We say this deal will last forever. Not quite ready and don't miss out. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. You can obviously come in here and change the same things around. Like that's the font, but then this is the color of the background, the box, things like that. You can go ahead and play around with it. This one has the border radius, so that's that one if you want to kind of adjust that as well. And if you go back and you notice that it doesn't let you go any further, you can just click on ensure maximum curvature and it's going to automatically make it maximum. So something like that. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the color here, right? So if I come in here, the color we had, I don't remember. I think it was greenish, right? So it was something like that. So maybe something like that. Maybe a little too green. Maybe when I remove the opacity a little bit, maybe something like this. Just as an idea, right? Looks a little bit more guitar-y as opposed to pinky girly. So you can hit save. Now there's no really publish here, right? Because we have to add it to our page right over here. So we're going to come in here. So what we have to do is edit it right over here. So the first thing we need is to enter our website. So we come in here, we take this, Control C, Control V, we paste it right over there. And then it's going to say URLs that exactly match this URL. They will have this code here. And then we decide, right? So when do you want this pop-up to show? As soon as the visitor lands on the page, with a delay of 5 seconds after they land on the page, when a visitor tries to exit, when a visitor scrolls up, when a visitor scrolls X% of the page, up to you. So let's suppose I want to do it when a visitor tries to exit the page, right? Seems makes sense to do it like that. You can also show it only one time per visitor. You can show it on every single time somebody visits. If somebody closes the page, goes to it again, they will see it again when they try to exit. This one, it will only show on the second visit, and this one will show every 2 visits, for example, in increments. And then here you can show, don't show on the first visit, but show on all return visits. So up to you. I'm going to do it, let's say, show on every visit. Every time somebody lands on the page, they will see this, but they will only see it one time. You also have advanced targeting, so you do need to upgrade the plan. It will give you the option to adjust it based on specific country, based on specific scheduling, so what times you want to start, things like that. But we're going to leave it as is. So now we do have to add this in the head section of our page, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this, and let's go back to our landing pages here. Let's go to our guitars right over here, and then we're going to come in here, we're going to copy this code. And we're going to click on Edit, Variant A. And again, don't forget to do it on Variant B if you have it on both. We're going to open JavaScript. We're going to enter it here. We're going to say head. And then we're going to name this the Popup, right? Then we're going to say done. We're going to say save. We're going to say republish. We're going to come back here. So once that's done, you do have to publish it here as well. Don't forget. So once everything is set up, we say published. And now, as soon as we refresh this page, if we come in here, we refresh it. Watch what happens when I try to leave the page. Boom, right? The pop-up. You see it show up right over here. And then, of course, we forgot to adjust the button, but you would make it so that the button takes people to some page, calendar page, or, the guitarlessons.com page, whatever it is, right? And notice it doesn't do it anymore. But if I refresh the page and I try to exit again, it shows it again. Okay, so that's how you enter the pop-up. Let me now show you lastly how to add the sticky bar. So we still have this page here. So sticky bar, we're going to create new. We're going to click on sticky bars over here, and then you would select which one you want. Again, so depending on what it is you want, you can play around with it. They have a lot of different cool options. Yeah, so maybe something like this, and then we can play around with it. So we can say sticky bar, guitar, and then we can say temporary, right? Like temporary offer, something like that. We can say start with this template, and we're going to be adjusting this as well. So we'll say we'll be in your area, right? Join us. We can say, we're giving away this free guitar lesson while we're in the area, something like that. And then we can make it a little bigger just so there's space. Drag it like this. And then here, instead of saying sign up, we can say learn more or something like that. Okay, so for example, let's suppose this looks good. We're going to hit save again. And of course, there's mobile as well, so you can make it look good on mobile too. And then we're going to hit back. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the pop-up. So we're going to come in here. We're going to enter the URL. I'm going to copy that. Going to paste it here. We're going to say when a visitor arrives on the page, I want this pop-up to show up right away. And then I want it to show up on every single visit. And then that looks good. So we're just going to go ahead and copy that code. We're going to come back here. We're going to add new code. We're going to say in the head section, we're going to call it the sticky bar. Say done. Say save. Say republish. Say republish. While that's publishing, we come in here. We say publish here. Publish here. And that should be it. So now if we refresh this page again, the pop-up is there, but the sticky bar is not. Okay, let's try that again. Let's refresh. Boom, there it is, okay? And then if somebody clicks that, did we set up the button? No, we did not. But yeah, and then that sticky bar is going to follow them around, and then they could, of course, close out of it if they don't want it, but something that shows up at the top, pretty cool. And that, I believe, is pretty much it, my friends. I believe I covered everything there is to know about Unbounce. It is, like I said, is basically a free course. There's nothing, anything else that I missed, really. We covered absolutely everything. As you can see, they have a ton of features, and hopefully, as you can see, this is why I love Unbounce. The customization, the flexibility. You can put anything anywhere. That's amazing. You do not see that with many other landing page builders. Most of them, you do not. So again, if you guys want to check out Unbounce yourself, if you go to go.ivanmana.com/unbounce, you get a 14-day free trial and 20% off on your first 3 months, or 35% off for the next year. So amazing stuff. You cannot get this anywhere else. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments what you thought. Let me know if I missed something. Let me know what else you could find value in other videos potentially. If you enjoyed it, I do invite you to check out my website at ivanmana.com, where I offer you a free 55-page affiliate marketing guide, as well as access to training courses where you can improve your presence in online marketing with Google Ads, Facebook Ads, Microsoft Ads, affiliate marketing mastery, anything like that, to help you become better at online marketing and start making real money online. All right. So that is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one.